Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I'm your superintendent, and this is our weekly Connection update. Tonight in the Connection, we're going to focus on our Jerry Star Sleep Out. I'm going to share some information with you on that. It's tonight. Also, we'll hit our school highlights. We'll talk about our recognition for this week, and we'll round off with our annual remembrance, our celebration of Black History Month. So let's get going. First, later today, I'll be joined by teachers, staff, our community members for our 35th annual Jerry Star Kenton Schools Sleep Out. And let's really remember this event is organized by a group of retired teachers named ETC, Educators Totally Committed. And it's a way to raise awareness about the importance of helping people in need in our community. All monetary donations support two extremely important organizations here in Kenton, and that's our Family Support Center and the Kenton Closet. So let's talk about ways to donate. First, you could go online through our GoFundMe. Cash and checks made payable to Kenton Schools ETC, and you can make it in care of Kenmore West High School, 33 Highland Parkway, Buffalo, New York, 14223. You could drop them off in person this evening at the event. We really encourage people to do that. Also, different things can be dropped off tonight. We can, and you'll see it right there in the connection. Monetary donations, food, personal care items, new gently used clothing, small furniture will be accepted. Also, our staff can donate in various ways through our inter-office delivery or given to the KTA Sleep Out building representative, which are identified for each building. And folks, every sleep out is a special sleep out. This sleep out is especially special this year. You see, earlier this week we were dealt some horrible news. Mayor Mike Colmar, we call him the mayor because Mike just knew everybody and helped everybody. It's a term of endearment for our Mike Colmar, who just retired this past June, and we were informed earlier this week, that Mike passed away. And Mike always played a very big role in the Sleep Out and has participated every year since the inception of the Sleep Out. You see, Mike, that's what the Sleep Out meant to Mike, exactly who Mike was. Mike did whatever it took to make the Sleep Out a success. He brought boxes, maintained the fires that we had going, and that's what Mike meant to the Sleep Out. That's what Mike meant to the community. Another example, he helped coordinate annual Christmas tree giveaways for families in need at our former Philip Sheridan building. This was an annual tradition for over 30 years. And in so many ways, Mike just embodied what this sleep out is about, helping others. For Mike, this wasn't limited to his involvement in events like this Christmas tree giveaway or like the sleep out. You know, it was part of his everyday work. So this year, we're looking at what this sleep out really meant to Mike, what it means to Kenton, and what both Mike and the sleep out has meant for decades. Mike was always known for being ready to lend a helping hand to the students, staff, and visitors of the building, and this is what we're remembering every year that we do the sleep out. So, in a special way, this sleep out means a lot to a lot of people. So join me in making our donations, in doing whatever we can to remember what it means to be Kenton strong, what it means to be Kenton dedicated, what it means to be Mike Colmar dedicated, Mayor Mike, and everything that he's done for our community. Our next section are our school highlights. And to really focus on our school highlights this week, we have a piece about our high schools. We have a special piece about Kenmore West, Franklin, and Kenmore East in there. So please pick up the connection and check out those special events. Our recognitions, our school counselors, talk about giving. Next week is National School Counseling Week, and it'll be observed throughout the country, February 7th through 11th. Today we recognize our outstanding school counselors who have a tremendous impact on students every day, helping them achieve academic and social emotional success in school. At all grade levels, school counselors play an extremely important role through their daily interactions with students. They help them form healthy goals, mindsets, behaviors. Students learn to develop effective collaboration and cooperation skills, practice perseverance, develop time management and study skills, and learn self motivation and self direction habits through their work with their counselors. All of our school counselors do an outstanding job, and of course, I couldn't represent all the work that they do here, but it's important to understand that the outstanding job that they do guiding our students and putting them on the pathway to future success. Please join me in thanking our counselors in this upcoming week. And finally, our celebration as we come into the month of February, we of course celebrate our Black History Month. And it's important. This year, we're going to look at local Black history and the impact that it has had on our Buffalo community as a whole. And in celebration of Black history, we will again feature important African American topics throughout the month of February. This year, though, we'll be focusing on those local individuals and institutions that have played an important role in our history. Our focus today is the Colored Musicians Club of Buffalo, the oldest continuously operating African American musicians organization in the United States, which continues to play an extremely important role in Buffalo culture and history. The club dates back to the early 20th century. At that time, the only union representing musicians in Buffalo was Local 43 of the American Federations of Musicians, which refused to include African Americans. In 1917, a close-knit group of African American musicians in the city decided to form their own union, Local 533. They found their permanent home at 145 Broadway in 1934 and became officially incorporated the following year. The downstairs of their iconic building was used for club meetings and business, while the upstairs was used for practice, rehearsal, and performances. Some of the greatest names in jazz, such as Dizzy Gillespie, Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, Nat King Cole, and Miles Davis, could be found at the club at one time or another. Like many of our nation's previously segregated music unions, Local 43 and 533 eventually merged in the 1960s. The Colored Musicians Club was able to preserve its identity and building and continues to operate to this day. The building, home to Buffalo's Jazz Museum, was granted historic landmark status in 1979 and was designated a historic preservation site in 1999. The organization continues to play a critical role in Buffalo's thriving jazz and music scene, facilitating historical research and promoting jazz and music in Buffalo. You can learn more about this club at www.cmctheclub.com. And folks, that's where we end today. Wonderful learning about our history, about the history in Buffalo, learning we talked about the history here in Kenton as well. When we spoke about Mr. Colmar, we talk about everything that we do as Kenton and how far we've come together. And we are Kenton strong. We are moving Kenton forward. And together, we will be one Kenton community. Thank you very much for continuing to listen and continuing to focus as one community in Kenton. Have a great weekend.